I mean, so far, and we've talked about this before, there have been various sort of incentives like trade-in schemes. I can't remember the exact details, but, it had to do with things like home appliances, like you can trade in your toaster oven or something like that. But, I mean, beyond that, it hasn't really gotten very far.
I think there is a gentle shift toward thinking about consumption. You're right, what we call China's cash for clunkers. You bring your old car or old home appliances and the government give you a subsidy, you can buy a new one. That's consumption, but it's still in between of sort of investment versus consumption, because end of the day, if there's a huge demand for auto home appliances, there will be a lot of manufacturing investment and manufacturing production. But we are seeing signs of, for example, right before the Golden Week, the government announced to give money to the extremely poor. The macro implication is small because the total amount relative to GDP is limited, but it is a signal that they are thinking about directly subsidizing households, and that's a welcome way for the government to stimulate consumption, because end of the day you need income to consume.
Hui Shan, when do all these stimulus measures start to bite, start to have a positive impact insofar as the consumer-led recovery is concerned and stabilising the property market? And where does that leave your headline forecasts for 2025?
Right, so for all the announcements we saw end of September, we estimated the PBOC's announcement of triple R cut, rate cut, mortgage rate on existing borrowers, and support to the equity market. Altogether, we estimate 40 basis points lift to China's GDP. A lot of the fiscal stimulus that people are expecting, we haven't gotten the confirmation from the authorities yet. If they materialize by year end, the impact will be felt next year. At this point, we haven't really changed our forecast for 2025. We're expecting 4.3% real GDP growth. And the reason here is that you are facing two major uncertainties. Number one is this fiscal package. We still don't know how big and where exactly they're going to spend on, despite all these speculations and media articles. And number two, in about a month, we'll learn who wins the U.S. election, which could have a pretty important impact on China and China growth next year in particular. So that's I think the range of outcome is wide, but certainly the fiscal stimulus is what everyone is watching for.
Absolutely. And arguably structural reform, structural economic reform is the big missing piece of the puzzle here, and we await more details there on that front. Hui Shan, we will leave it there. Thank you very much indeed for your analysis. That's it for this edition of Squawk Box. I'm Sri Jagaraja with Martin Sung. Do stay tuned for the rest of the market opens, which will be brought to you by Street Signs. Coming up next. Have a good day.